Isn't he so cute? He's such a good-looking young leopard. He's going to be such a big boy when he's older, and he's definitely got that typical Karula family look about him. He looks very similar to what she does, and all the boys that have come from her look all very, very similar indeed. Now, where are you off to? Isn't that spectacular with his reflection? Just come out a little bit there, Senzo, and you'll see the reflection on the water is absolutely spectacular. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So for those of you that like to do screenshots, that's number one right there of him walking along. I'll just try and give him a bit of light so that we can see. Now hopefully he's going to stop and have a little drink for us. Maybe he's more fond of the corner area. Where are you going, Hosana? Absolutely spectacular. I'm trying not to shine the light towards him too much. I'm just using the water to bounce it off. Are you going to drink in the worst possible place for us, where there's a branch in the way? No, I don't think he wants to drink. I think he's decided he wants to start moving now. Is that your new sleeping place? Is that where you want to sleep? Now, we've seen them so many times in this area. This is one of the places that they really like to spend time. I mean, even when Karula was still with them, we'd find Shungile and Hosana and Karula all around these banks and often lying on top here. And he used to check around in these areas because this is a great place where monitor lizards will hide. They like to hide in that sort of undergrowth and vegetation, so I wonder if he hasn't spotted something, because look, he's going into a stalk pose now. Now I'm just going to turn off the light so that I don't show him in case there's something there that he could potentially be stalking, but he's definitely going into stalk mode. Look how he's being very careful with his paws. I wonder if there's not a terrapin at the base there near that thorn tree. Let's see how he goes here. But look how his whole demeanor has changed. He's now very careful about the way he's walking. He's checking every footprint that he's making, and he's even putting his back foot right where his front foot was, just to limit the amount of noise that he's making. Ears are focused forward, eyes are very focused. What are you up to? Is that where you're going to watch for terrapins? Oh, clever boy, he's gotten himself a bit of a height perspective now, so he can see into the water, and if then anything comes out, he'll be able to leap on it from there. He looks a bit bewildered, doesn't he? He almost looks like he's unsure of what he wants to do. And he's watching some of the birds that are flying over as well. Got a very, very curious face, little Hosana, and it's generally because he's up to no good. Seems to be a leopard that is always busy and always doing something. So nice to see him up and awake. Now, I know that it is getting quite dark, but I don't want to shine on him, especially if there is some terrapins that are close by. See if he maybe can get a chance to get a meal. At the end of the day, we don't want to disrupt any chance they can get, because it's not easy for them at the moment. Without mom around, they really are having to fend for themselves, and it makes life a lot more difficult to be able to find the food that they need. But isn't that beautiful? Now, I think a toss-up for me between him and Tumba, which are my two favorites at the moment. So, Riti, you're wondering what age can a leopard independently hunt animals? Well, I've seen a young leopard of 5 months old kill a baby duiker. So, I mean, that's probably a once-off thing, but it just shows you that they are capable already of getting food. I know of a leopard that was unfortunately lost its mom at 10 months, and it survived. It managed to eat lizards and insects and all kinds of things, and snakes and terrapins, and it made it to be an adult leopard that lived a long life. So, you know, when they get thrown in the deep end, they tend to be able to do it. But I would imagine that, you know, effectively, generally, it's between sort of 14 months and 2 years when they get left by their mom, and that's when they're able to actually start hunting quite effectively. So Hosana, though, has already brought down a number of quite big animals. I know he's brought down a duiker, I know he's brought down a fully grown impala, so he's doing just fine. He's taken to this single life like a duck to water, as opposed to Shongile, who struggled for the first few weeks, but she seems to have worked it out now. She seems to have worked out that terrapins are the way to go for her, and that's what she's doing. She's just going after terrapin after terrapin after terrapin, and seems to be doing really well and sustaining herself. And then the other day, she managed to get a scrub hare and a duiker, so she's also starting to work out the techniques, and as time goes on, so they'll get better and better at what they're doing.